Alright, we are back again with another IRL duel between myself on the left and my buddy on the right. I'm playing Bam over here and he's playing Chaos Dragons, which are two really fun decks that I think are going to pick up in popularity in Redo format. I know Chaos Dragons is like a nostalgic deck that people like to go back to, and this BAM deck actually got a lot of representation at the last multi-day, and people are getting better on the deck. I do think that people still have room for improvement playing this deck. I played it for the first time on the left here, and it's not really the easiest deck. First time in paper. I've played it maybe twice on Dueling Book. But yeah, so we have my buddy starting off on the right with main deck Thunder King. He main decks Thunder King in Chaos Dragons and in Agents, which, again, that also might start picking up in popularity because it's a really good main deck card into Windups, which is obviously a really strong deck in the format. But it actually is not that great into this deck, just with the Trags in the main and the card troopers in the main. I guess it does stop your gear frames and your fortresses, so actually maybe it is even good into this matchup. But yep, you see I just drop a Trag after I resolve my card effect. He MSTs my Chalice. He has a set, so into Chaos Dragons we're always expecting the set to be a Ryko. But you saw that we have the main deck Chalice. That's a good answer for the Rykos and for the Zen mains. I think that's really the purpose of this. This deck is completely stolen from Jay. I think that I changed a couple cards. Like Spore was main decking Avarice, which I thought was great, really good. I agree with that. This list is not main decking Pot of Duality, which I do think would actually be really good. And Thunder King's good into that. But you see the card trooper come down, so I'm going to mill three cards that would have been nice in the hand. Reborn Reckless to get things started. And I'm going to crash into this Thunder King to just get my +1. And then I'm also going to poke into what I believe is going to be a Ryko. And I'm going to activate the Chalice in damage to negate the Ryko. So I don't want to... I'm gonna move the camera at some point in this video so that you can see his graveyard. But I don't want to give him mills. I don't want to give him a free clear on this Trag because it's the only thing I got going on right now. And I don't know that Chalice is going to get better, especially with a big Trag. I don't know how he's going to clear it unless, I mean, if he burns Dark Hole, we love that, you know? So it felt okay to do the Chalice there. It feels a little bit weird to just, I don't know, just make a like burn cards in your hand just to clear like a Ryko when it's, it's maintaining our board. So I thought it was fine. And also we didn't need to crash the card trooper, but it's just going to sit there and take damage most likely. It's not like you want to mill like 6 cards in this deck necessarily. So I was fine just crashing it into the Thunder King. He ends up, it's off camera, but he ends up reborning my and this is going to clear my Tragodia. I tell him, get your hands off that calculator. This thing doesn't do any battle damage. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah. So then he sets one. We're not sure if that's also a Ryko. Again, they play, triple Ryko and Night Assailant, which are generally the sets, but they can also set Wyvern and Sangan. So I'm contemplating. Oh, also it's important to keep in mind the number of Earths. So it looks like I have Card Trooper, Cannon, Card D as my Earths. And then I gear frame into this Cannon. And yeah, so when you get your +1 off of this gear frame, then you don't care about crashing it into a Ryko and it's fine. And now this gear frame was just a pot of greed because I was able to add Cannon, activate Trade and draw 2, and I get to keep moving through my deck and adding Earths to grave. So this gear frame represents the 5th Earth also, but I don't know if I found a Grand Soul. Anyways, I'm thinking about attacking it. Okay, so you can see my hand is Fortress, Valor, Maxi, Card. So yeah, so what I'm thinking about doing is just crashing into this Ryko to try, assuming it's a Ryko, to just try to get him to burn it on a gear frame. I'm also thinking about dropping a gear frame to possibly kill this or bait him into targeting me with Ryko, which I don't think he would do. But yeah, so keep in mind we have 4 Urts in the graveyard, 1 on the field. I'm thinking about if I want to pitch this card car for the Machina Fortress or if I want to just pitch 2 for the Machina Fortress. And now my buddy is showing me that he bought an ulti Maystroke. That's what that is. So I don't really feel like committing this fortress. It is a Sangan. I just got the little glimpse of his claw right there. And he is going to search Tour Guide. So now we assume next turn he's going to be normal summoning the Tour Guide. And we're still thinking, do we want to special summon the fortress? We don't really feel super threatened. Like I said, we have the Veiler and the Maxi in hand, and this can't do battle damage. He activates the alert. I'm not sure what he's looking for because he risks drawing into Tour Guide targets because he already burned the Sang and he searched the Tour Guide, so he only has 2 left in deck. And you can see he banishes a card that I don't think he is going to continue playing. I think that this is going to end up being, he was saying, like going to be like a Dimensional Alchemist, which I think is such a cool card in this deck because when you banish their only red med, it cripples the deck, and Dimensional Alchemist can come back from that. So I maxed his Tour Guide because, again, I'm really not worried about him hitting me for game, even though I actually don't have a Tragger Gores right now. So I get the draw, and it looks like he does not really want to overlay. He's just going to kill this Fortress, deal no damage on that attack, and we don't really care. And then he's going to punch in with both Tour Guides. We take 2,000. We're at 41. That's okay. The Maxi drew us into another Maxi. I hate to see it. And then, like I said, all we have really going are hand traps, double Fortress, card car, and you saw we just drew into a Reckless. So we have Maxi Veiler, Reckless, double Fortress, card car, I believe. So I decided to pitch the Fortresses to Special Fortress. I believe that's going to be 5 Earths engraved now, I think. Or was the gear frame the 5th I said? I think the gear frame was the 5th, so now it's 6 Earths engraved. But we have the although we don't have any Beast Warriors, I believe. So yeah, we poke in on the Tour Guide. We don't feel the need to clear this by crashing the Fortress, and we set our Reckless. I don't know how familiar my opponent is with this deck, so when I'm playing against this deck, I pretty much never respect the back rows as anything real. I always assume they're MST Reckless, which makes it kind of like, I wonder if like main decking some really punishing trap card like a Mirror Force makes sense. Although the best decks main deck at least 2, but usually 3 MSTs and heavy. So it's like you're giving those MSTs and heavies a good target. So I don't know. Oh, I missed this, but yeah. So he actually tribute summons the Dark Flare Dragon. And right when he does that, I pitch Max C, assuming he has Dark Arm Dragon, because he tributed to put a 3rd Dark Engrave. So I pitch my Max C, and he still specials his Dark Arm because he thinks he's going to kill me this turn. He Dark Arms, pops my Reckless, I chain it. Like I said, I don't know how familiar he is with the deck, but generally that back row is going to be Reckless. But there's nothing wrong with him popping with Dark Arm there. And now he's thinking, okay, can I kill him? So he's considering popping my Fortress with his Dark Arm. So he sets a card, and I tell him that I assume, or later on I tell him I assume that that's a spell that you just set. I Veiler his Dark Armed, but he did target my Fortress, so I'm like pretty sure I still get my effect to rip a card from the hand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he still activated an effect to target me. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to get the rip. I see it's Gore's Trag. I tell him, like, I'm pretty sure you just set a spell, but I'm still going to take the Gores because you have no cards in hand for your Trag anyways. And he is not going to get the pop. And now he's kind of contemplating his options. He's thinking, he's telling me if I attack with my you'll probably pop my Dark Armed. So then I think he decides to just attack with the Dark Armed. I do think this is a mistake because there's no reason not to attack with the because the can't deal battle damage unless you're expecting to attack directly with something and you want to clear that something with the a Gores or a Trag. But yeah, so here I'm going to think about it for a while. The Dark Arm's level 7, the is level 8, and the Dark Flare is level 5. The can't deal battle damage. The Dark Flare can, and I'm at like 38, so I just end up destroying the Dark Flare because I I know that I can clear this Dark Arm because I have the what do I have? I think I have a Fortress in hand that I can special summon, a way to special summon Fortress, or I have a way to special summon I can't remember. And you also saw I have the Avarice. So I just Heavy Storm this card that I assume is a spell, which it was, but that's fine. So I know that what's left is a Trag in his hand, and then he has and Dark Armed. So I go through my graveyard. I see that I have, I want to say 8 Earth monsters, but whatever I do, I decide to, I mean, obviously end or resolve my Avarice with 5 Earths left in my grave, and I put back the best Earth monsters I can that I want to draw. So the cannons are great. I leave a Fortress, I believe, and send back a Fortress, and I also send back the gear frame to add the cannon. And off this Avarice, I draw perfect money off this Avarice. I'm pretty sure I draw into Grand Soil Cannon off of this thing, which is fucking sick. Yeah, Grand Soil Cannon, so sick. And now I'm just thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure I got this, but let's see. So yeah, you can see I left a Fortress, I left the Trag because it's a dark monster. And the other reason I left the Trag is because I'm thinking maybe there's a way I can take this Dark Armed with like a big eye. So anyways, let's get a glimpse of the hand. We know we have the Grand Soil and the cannon. We have an and I saw a Card Trooper as well. And a Card Car. So we start with the Grand Soil, and we are going to get the Trag because we have some cards that we could pitch to steal. We have level 8s in our hand, so we could potentially take this So we're thinking about taking this with the Trag, and then you could overlay into a Hieratic Sun Dragon, but instead I decided to pitch the cannon, special summon the Fortress, take the Dark Arm, activate the Dark Armed effect. Then I realized, oh, I detached the Fortress. Look away. I'm actually going to detach the Dragon, and then I pop his and then that puts a Beast Warrior in my grave for me to drop my own And now we can't attack with the Big Eye, but now we have Grand Soil and Dark Arm that can attack, which are 5,600 damage right there. And we have a Card Car in our hand, which is another 1,900 damage. We know his hand is Trag, so that is 56, 65, something like that. 56, yeah, I think it's 65, which I think is exactly what he's at. He had told me. I don't know how he took 1,500 damage. I was not keeping track of all of that, but I'm pretty sure this ends up being exact game, and he cannot protect himself with the Trag because the which can't deal battle damage, can clear his Trag, so I kill it with the and then I boom, 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 bang, bang, and that's game. So that's kind of like how I feel a lot of the games with this deck kind of go. You're like playing slow, trying to get your hand set up and your graveyard set up to where you can make these like really, really aggressive plays that end in like these Grand Soil, Big Eye, type, or Sun Dragon types of plays. So anyways, my opponent opens with the Recharge, which you really like to see. He mills Valor Sangan, which I like to see. I don't want to. It gives me a little bit less mystery about what his set monsters are. Like, he milled his Sangan, so we know this set monster is either an Eclipse Wyvern or a Raikou Night Assailant, and most likely it's a Raikou Night Assailant, because Eclipse Wyvern has some utility in the hand to pitch for like Pulsar. I guess Soda Night Assailant and Raikou, right? Same reason, I guess. Anyways, so here I normal summon the Card Car, and he says, oh, I have to do this on your normal summon. I have to Valor it, or else you can activate the effect of Card Car. And I'm just like, okay, well, then I won't set this. So this ends up being a really poor exchange for him, because he Veilered on my normal summon card car, I can again assume this is a Raikou. So now this card car is going to have traded for a Raikou and a Veiler. So it was a +1 anyways. It just didn't push me through my deck. The other thing is, because I normal summoned the card car with 5 cards in my hand, he should know that I'm actually going to set a card right after that. So he should wait for the set unless he thinks I'm going to draw 2 and just discard 1, which would be kind of a weird move because then the card car would have been better off as an upstart. So I do think that that's a slight misplay to Veiler on the normal summon when I have 5 cards in hand with card car. You know I'm going to set, but you know, it's a friendly match, and we're both just getting used to the format. So anyways, he summons Wyvern, special summons a Light Pulsar, pushes in, and now let's take a look at my hand. It looks like it's Reborn, Grand Soil, Fortress, Veiler, Chalice. And I have a Reckless Greed set. And this is another thing with this deck. I watched a lot of the replays of people playing this deck in the last multi-day tournament, and people were constantly flipping their own Reckless Greeds, which I really, really do not like to do, especially with a hand like this where I have no like foreseeable way of finding a draw card. I don't have any draw cards in my hand, and I don't know. I have a Grand Soil, which is a level 8, so I could draw into a trade-in, but we see one is gone. Like, the probability of that is so low. So most likely when I flip that Reckless Greed, that's it. Those are my cards for the next 3 turns. And I just think that it should be like a almost like a last resort. You know, like I really, really do not feel the need to flip my Reckless Greed. What I end up doing is I burn my Reborn to just get something started, and I attack over his... I Reborn his Light Pulsar, attack over his Light Pulsar, and activate Chalice. The reason I do this is because I don't want to have to chain the Chalice. I don't want to kill his Wyvern and then have to chain the Chalice to a like a Lila normal summon, and then I don't have a way to clear the Light Pulsar without suiciding in. So I just want to clear the Light Pulsar because he doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, and he also, if you noticed, only has milled light monsters, so he doesn't really have anything going on, which is why I'm a little bit more comfortable attacking into this Eclipse Wyvern. The other reason why I attack this Eclipse Wyvern, even though I hate just giving my opponent effects, is 1, I do not want to attack into what I assume is a Raikou face down, have him flip the Raikou in the damage step and potentially pop my back row where I can't chain it, because it's the damage step. 2, this deck doesn't really have a way to turn off monster effects, as far as I know, to stop this Wyvern from resolving. So it's happening, you know? So I'll just take the body off the board, because he does play the tribute monsters, which are the Chaos Dragons. So he flips the Raikou, pops the back row. I don't think that that's necessary to pop the back row, but again, not everyone has seen this deck, so they don't really know what the back row are. And he must have a plan for this Light Pulsar if he's doing this. He just wants to get his play off and get his Raikou mills. So you see he milled a dark monster, so he actually did find that dark, specials his Light Pulsar, resolves his Eclipse Wyvern, gets to add the red med to his hand. So now he has the dreaded red med plus Light Pulsar board, and I actually have his Light Pulsar on my field, so he could actually resolve his Light Pulsar from my field, I believe. I mean, I don't know what the card says. Obviously, I don't read the cards. But I believe he can. So anyways, he kills my my Light Pulsar, his Light Pulsar, whatever. There's no targets in the grave at the moment. So then I'm like, oh, you're attacking into Gores with the Raikou? And then he's like, I won't do that. And we didn't have Gores. We just like to fuck with him a little bit. But yeah, he decides not to. I don't think there's a huge reason to poke in for 200 here, if I'm, depending on how much life I'm at. I think I'm at 36. But yeah, he decides not to. I don't think he needs to. Not that he can't clear the Gores, but Gores is a level 7. This deck plays Veiler. You open up level 8 Synchro plays. I just don't know if it's necessary. And you open up Big Eye plays if I drop a Fortress. But yeah, anyways, I do drop the Fortress. I believe I pitched double Fortress to do this, unless I pitched maybe like a card car. But I do drop the Fortress, and here I'm thinking, do I want to... You saw I have a cannon in my hand. I'm thinking, oh, I hate when people do this thing with the fingers, like they're doing math out. I can't believe I'm doing it. So it's so embarrassing. But I'm thinking if I want to special summon the second Fortress, because I'm planning on crashing this Fortress into his red med. I have to crash this Fortress into his red med, because he he is going to revive the Light Pulsar next turn. I Veilered it, but it gets its effect back next turn, so I have to clear this red med. And the reason, and then yeah, I get punished, you could say, by that Dark Hole. But the reason why I was comfortable doing that was because I believe that Fortress is actually my 5th Earth. Maybe I'll fan the graveyard at some point, but I'm pretty sure that was actually my 5th Earth. And then here he pitches Sork Veiler, and he's like, oh, this is so ugly. And I'm like, yeah, dude, pitch Sork Veiler to special summon Light Pulsar, that is really ugly. And he's like, well, I could summon the Sork and then attack in, but then if you drop anything, I'm really in a bad spot. And I'm like, I get it. So he just wants his floating Pulsar. That's like what this deck does. And then he sets a back row, which I obviously do not respect at all, because it's Chaos Dragons. It could be treacherous, actually, I guess. But yeah, anyways, we just slammed this Grand Soil because I was like, this is the point of me putting that second Fortress down. I got him to burn his Dark Hole. So I'm going to activate the effect, and I target his Red Eyes, get fucked. And again, I don't respect this back row, so I'm thinking, okay, what can I do here? A lot of the times when people who play this deck special summon the Grand Soil, they try to overlay with it so that it does not trigger its skip battle phase effect. So that's always an option, because I actually do have another Grand Soil in my hand. So I'm thinking about that, but I'm also thinking that another Grand Soil revive another big guy is game, because 28 times 3 is 84. So if I revive something that's at least like 2100 or something like that, I have game. And here my buddy is saying this is a once per turn. And I'm like, no. Why did you pick up the only one that's not secret from Return of the Duelist? This is like a reprint. I'm gonna get another secret. But yeah, that is actually game, because I special summon the Fortress, and that is enough to push in for game right there. So you see some of the power of the BAM deck. Obviously, there's like fragility as well, and this is an interesting. I think it's a good matchup for BAM, just because, it's a no back row deck versus another no back row deck, but your no back row deck plays like the bigger guys. I don't know if you would say it's more explosive, or if you would say Chaos Dragons is more explosive, but you also trade favorably into like their Raikos and things like that, and you don't struggle to clear their 2800 monsters like other decks do, which is some of the advantage of Chaos Dragons. But yeah, it was just a fun match I recorded with my buddy. I'm hoping to record more IRL redo content, because I'm really enjoying playing the format, and I'm gonna be playing more IRL redo now that my locals picked up redo, and I'm also hoping to film more content like that. There are 2 videos ago, the tournament replay review, that was super fun. I was so happy that people actually enjoyed that. I was not expecting people to have enjoyed that as much as they seem to have. So I'm always happy to do that. So if I get more opportunities to do that, I'll definitely do that as well. But yeah, be on the lookout for whatever comes next. It'll probably be some more IRL content, just because it'll take time before we get to play through another tournament and then go over all the matches. But I'll definitely try to do that for the next multi-day.